Hey everybody, I'm Melissa Joyner, and today we're at the Boathouse in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. In this series, we'll be plugging you into the music scene along the Grand Strand. Today we're joined by Brian Roessler as he plays one of his original songs for you. Make sure you stick around because we're going to learn about the man behind the music.
And the song's called Like Icarus. Tried on reality to see how it fits. It was hem too high, too loose on the hips. It needed a belt or else it would fall onto the floor. So I jumped on a coaster to go for a ride, and I screamed till I laughed till I cried. But when it was over, it just left me off where I was before. Some days it feels like I'm not going anywhere. Some days it feels like I'm already there. So I put on some wings and attempted to fly. I crashed through the clouds and I circled the sky. But just like Icarus, I made it too close to the sun. 3 fingers point back when one points to blame, and change is the only thing that's the same when all's done and said, and everything is said and done. Some days it feels like I'm not going anywhere. Some days it feels like I'm already there. Some days it feels like I'm not going anywhere. Some days it feels like I'm already there. I'm already there. I'm already there. Some days it feels like I'm not going anywhere. Some days it feels like I'm already there. Some days it feels like I'm not going anywhere. Some days it feels like I'm already there. I'm already there. I'm already there.
Brian, thank you so much for coming to hang out with us today and play your song.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
I always like to tell people that you're the pioneer of the original music scene here. I know when I first came to this town, you actually were the first musician that I had a show with. So what does it feel like to be involved in that way in the music scene here?
I'm trying to give other new musicians chances to get stage presence, and musicians who might be coming, just those opportunities that they might not have that I didn't have when I first came here. And it's just a really cool experience just to hear all of so there's so much talent in this town. And the opportunity to just to hear it, it's kind of selfish on my part. It's like I get to listen to this person play on a night when I get to play too, and that to me that's just so rewarding. And also when I ran the open mic at Fresh Brewed Coffee House, just seeing so many young kids back in 2009 and what they're doing today, like just that in and of itself has also been absolutely amazing and fulfilling in more ways than you can imagine.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you're here today with us, because actually several of the people that we've interviewed have actually mentioned your name. And I like to think that it's not just music that you're bringing to these venues, it's an experience. Because like you said, you have different genres, different types of writers. And I just feel like that's such a unique thing that Myrtle Beach has that not all music scenes have.
This is a little tiny seacoast town that has more talented musicians than anywhere that I've ever been. And that's not just musicians who can play other music, that's writers too. And that is something that really blew me away once I dug deeper into the music scene once I got here. And just to be considered a peer amongst some of these amazing writers is really humbling. And wow. Yeah.
I agree with that. When I look around the musician table, if you will, there's just the diversity and the talent here. It's of all levels. So it's really cool to be involved in that. And speaking of songwriters, who are some of your influences? Like, how do you get the Brian Roessler category that you have, because your songs range from hilarious, make you want to cry, make you want to dance with somebody. Like, where does that come from?
Well, I'm one of those people who think that there's amazing songs in every genre and terrible songs in every genre, rather than thinking that this genre is bad or this genre is great. But I'll be honest with you, it really starts with my teenage years. Robert Smith of The Cure, and Martin Gore, the primary writer for Depeche Mode, Ben Harper, Adam Duritz from Counting Crows, the Avett Brothers, John Prine. I can't say enough about John Prine, honestly, as well, too. Jason Isbell, and some of the new Americana stuff is just so inspiring, honestly, right now.
Well, I'll take that question and take it one step further. If you could play any venue in the whole world with anyone, you can make the dream team, if you will, where would you play and who would you bring with you?
Wow. So this includes any band or...
Dead or alive, solo.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's get crazy with it.
I can already tell you the venue's going to be Red Rocks.
Okay.
If it's in America. There's a chance Wembley if it's not America.
Hey, dream big.
But just because all of my early music stuff, I was pretty much a Anglophile with a lot of, we were talking The Cure, Depeche Mode, New Order, The Smiths, all of that stuff very British. And so there's that Wembley side of me that's just like British. But as far as American, like Red Rocks is such in Colorado.
Sound.
Yes, and so I would definitely want to do Red Rocks, but the list is almost too long of who I would want to play with. So I would probably just have to go back to the original, my OG, which is Robert Smith and The Cure. So
I would definitely pay to see that. So one of my favorite things just about Brian's solo shows is when you go up to the stage, he's like, how do you want to feel? And I swear, I think you have a song for every emotion. I have to say again how much I love that.
Thank you. It's experience, honestly. I once life kicks you down, not in that relationship kind of way.
Because let's be clear, that's a whole genre in itself.
Yeah, all of my songs in my 20s were like Boo-hoo, She Hates Me, or Boo-hoo, We Broke Up, and like somewhere around 26, 28, it just started like, wait, other things in life have happened to me, and you start writing about those, and then you start looking at other people's lives, and you can kind of filter their feelings and emotions through your own set of experiences and write about that, but at the same time just seem to have this experience in their lyrics that they haven't had in life.
It's like, who hurt you to write that?
Yes, exactly. Or even when did you have that moment of joy?
Right.
Because sometimes that joy comes from triumph over the hurt, and just finding those experiences and writing them in a way that's relatable.
Have there been parts of any of the songs that you've written that have haunted you in a good way? Like, are there lyrics that you just can't ignore or forget in any of your songs that have just stuck around?
My 2015, wow, that seems so long ago. My 2015 album, Songwriter's Lament. The title track is a track that's basically about writer's block to an extent where sometimes you feel that the song that you've written is going to be the last song you've ever written. And I feel that way almost every time I write a song. And so the lyrics from that always just pop into my head. If I write a song and then don't write something for 4 days, it's like, oh God, that was the last song I've ever written, I'll ever write.
Right.
And so and so the first line is that, what would I sing if the muse doesn't bring the words, and so on and so on. But it really is the idea that someday the muse, whatever that is going to not be there.
That hits home with me in such a big way, because my biggest fear is that I'm going to die with my song still inside of me. So I can see why that song lyric sticks with you. Well, my last question for you today, Brian, especially since you are so involved in the songwriting scene here, what would you say to a newcomer who wants to get their music out there, or maybe they're new to a music town and don't have a Brian in their city? What would you tell them to do?
There's something to be said for the idea of networking. Like, yeah, work hard, but work is part of the word network. So a lot of people think of networking as just kissing butt to try to get into somewhere,
right.
And it's not. It's actually network. It's part of the job. And as you start to come out of your shell, then it really becomes you're part of the scene, not just a new musician. You are actually a member who happens to be creating within the scene, not just somebody trying to break in. And I think just by doing that, as opposed to coming in, hi, I'm new, can I play here? Which is a viable tactic to get gigs.
Sometimes.
But it's not necessarily a viable tactic to ingratiate yourself in the scene right away.
I loved everything you said about the building the scene and networking, because I feel like the word networking can be used interchangeably with community, and I feel like that's something we have in plethora here in Myrtle Beach, or like the Grand Strand area specifically. And thank you so much for being a part of that community and building it.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yeah. And speaking of community, guys, we'd love for y'all to be a part of ours. So please make sure you stick around. Every Friday, we're going to have videos just like these where you learn about the songwriters and you learn about the music and the stories behind them. Please share this with your friends, like our page, but make sure you become a part of our community. So stick around. There's more to come.
Some days it feels like I'm not going anywhere. Some days it feels like I'm already there. Some days it feels like I'm not going anywhere. Some days it feels like I'm already there. I'm already there. I'm already